Hey guys, so as you can see from the title of this video, I'm actually going to do a book tag today. I'm going to be honest, this tag was probably going around YouTube or the Bookish side of YouTube about a year ago, so I'm very late to the game when it comes to that, but I've only recently discovered it. And because I want to try and do some more videos on my channel, I thought I'd give it a go. Now before I get into the video and what the tag is about, I want to do just a few little disclaimers. One is, if you go and watch other YouTubers who've done this tag, you'll see that they usually stood in front of a bookcase. I don't actually have a bookcase, or I do, but it only holds like 20 odd books, so it's definitely not big enough for my book collection. So as you can see behind me, my books are actually in boxes, so it makes it a little more difficult to do this, but it should be interesting. And like I said, I do have a bookshelf which is behind the camera. I do still have a couple of books on there. Second disclaimer is, if you do see the books in the boxes, you'll see that there's no actual system to them. They're kind of all over the place, which I know is going to annoy a lot of people, but I'm sorry. The reason for that is I just put them in boxes as I finish them, so they're kind of all over the place. I do try to keep them authors together, so I've got a book that's pretty much got most of my Jill Mansells in, and my Page Toons, and then I think I've got most of my Neil Gaiman books together, although they're a little spread out between two boxes. But I do try my best to keep authors together at least, but it does mean that I have to reorganise the boxes quite a lot. Yeah, third disclaimer, it's not really to do the books, it's just to let you know I'm just a little under the weather at the moment, so if there are a lot of jump cuts, it's usually because I've either had a coughing fit or I've had to take a drink from my sore throat. But yeah, getting into the video now. So the tag is called Do I Have That Book Challenge. So I don't know if it's a challenge or a tag, but whatever. And the idea of the video is, there's a list, this individual has come up with a list of 20 questions that describe a book, and you have to see if you have that book in your collection. Now, like I said, most people do this in front of a bookshelf. Mine are in boxes, so it's going to make it a little harder for me to find the books, but it should be okay. Another thing is, I've already read through all the questions and tried to come up with books that would fit them, just to see if I'd be able to do this video. And my criteria was, if I could answer at least 10 of them with a book, then I would do the video, and I think I can definitely do 10. So yeah. So another slight disclaimer with the challenge, like I said, I've read through the questions, so I've already come up with a book for each one, but I am going to try and come up with a different book. But if I can't find another one, then I'll just go for the first book that I thought of. But yeah, I'm going to get started. I'm going to grab my phone, which is over there, because that has the list of questions on. So here we go. So the first question on the list is, do you have a book with deckled edges? Now this isn't going to be a very good start, but I know for a fact I don't have a book with deckled edges. Now, if you don't know what deckled edges are, I can't, like I said, I haven't got a book to show you, but it's basically a book, usually a hardback, that has like uneven pages in it. So, and I know I haven't got one of those, so yeah, let's skip on to the next one. So the next question is, do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? And that I definitely do. I have a couple of books that fit that question. So the first book that came to mind, I'm looking behind me because I'm looking in the boxes. First book that came to mind was, what's it gone? The One I Want by Giovanna Fletcher, because that has, if I look a bit closer, you have Ben, Rob and Maddie. I think that's the order for the guys, but yeah, definitely 3 people on the cover. But like I said, I was going to try and find other books other than the first one that came to my mind. So the next book that came to mind, I've got to find it because I don't know which box it's in, was, it's not very good because I can't, oh, another one that came to mind has 4 people on the cover, which is Almost Adults, which as you can see has the 3 friends on. And then as I was organising these books, I found another book that had 3 on the cover, and that is The One We Fell in Love With by Page Toon, which you can see the 3 triplets that feature in the book. So yeah, when it comes to books with 3 characters more on covers, I have quite a few. The next question is, do you have a book based on another fictional story? Not that I'm aware of. If I'm honest, I have books that mention other books, other fictional stories, but I'm pretty sure I don't have one that actually features another one. At least I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't. So we'll move on to the next question. Do you have a book that has 10 letters in the name? And this isn't 10 letters or more, it's dead on 10 letters. Now, when I read this question, one book automatically popped into my mind, which is Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I'll grab it now. So yeah, as you can see, Neverwhere has 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 letters. So that was the first one that popped into my mind when I read these questions, but I am going to see if I can find another one. So yeah, bear with me because it's going to take me a while. I'm going to have to go through the books and try and find one with 10 letters in. And by chance I've just found another one, and that is another Neil Gaiman one, which is Anansi's Boys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So I think Neil Gaiman's going to be a good shout when I need to find 10 letters or more. I do have one more, which I didn't think it was going to be 10 letters, because I don't know why, but it turns out it is, which is P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, I really thought I was going to struggle with that one, but apparently I do have a few books that have 10 letters or more. Next question is, do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letter? Now, this one's going to be hard because most books start with A or the or the sometimes, so trying to find something that would start and end with a letter is going to be difficult. I know I do definitely have one that starts with the same letter and ends with the same letter, but I'm going to see if I can find another one. So bear with me. So yeah, I've found 3. I probably do have more, but I'm just going to show you the 3. So the first one that came to mind when I read this question was Smoke Mirrors by Neil Gaiman. It seems like a lot of Neil Gaiman books tend to answer these questions, but yeah, as you can see, it begins and ends with an S. The other book I found, which the next two I haven't actually read yet, but yeah, the first one is The Rosie Result. So because it begins with the, it begins with T and ends with T. And the third one is Staying at Daisy's by Jill Mansell, which begins and ends with S. So yeah, I think to answer this question, I think a lot of books are either going to have to start and end in T or S, because I can't imagine any other book, like what other letters a book could start and end with. So yeah, so we'll move on to the next question. So the 6th question on the list is, do you have a mass market paperback? I'm going to be honest, I actually have to Google what classed as a mass market, and the only ones I think would count, I'm pretty sure they would count, are the 2 Cecilia Ahern books I have. So one I've already shown you, which is P.S. I Love You. Oh yeah, and the other one is Where Rainbows End. I think they're the only ones I have that technically classed as mass market, but probably most of my paperbacks are mass market as well. So the next question is, do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? Once again, I had to do a bit of Googling to try and figure out if I did, and I think this counts, but yeah, I have 3 books by Sophie Kinsella, and I'm pretty sure that's a pen name because that's not her real name. Like, I think her middle name is Sophie, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a pen name. So the next question is, do you have a book with a character's name in the title? Yes. So yeah, the answer to that is yes, I do. I actually have a few, I think, that have the name in, character name in. So all of the Rosie project ones, because obviously one of the main characters is called Rosie. So there's those. The first one that came to mind when I find it is Miranda's Big Mistake by Jill Mansell. And Jill Mansell actually has a few books that have the characters' names in the title, so I'm not going to go through the whole list, but yeah, quite a lot of Jill Mansell's ones I find have the character titles. But yeah, so a lot of Jill Mansell's do. I think I got a page 2 one that's called Chasing Daisy, so that and there's a character, I don't think her name is Daisy, or she's referred to as Daisy quite a lot, but she has 2 names if I'm not mistaken. So there's also that one. And just looking in my boxes, I've just spotted another one, so I'm going to grab that one. So the other one I got is The Magic Strings of Frankie Presto by Mitch Albom, and yeah, Frankie Presto is the main character. So yeah, I've got quite a few books with the character's name in the title. The next question is, do you have a book that has 2 maps in? Now, this one seemed to stump a lot of people, and I'm not sure. I know I have books with maps in, but I'm not sure whether I have ones with 2. First place I'm going to look is in my Mythos series by Stephen Fry, because I'm pretty sure that has 2 maps in. Yes. So yeah, I've just picked up Mythos now, and I'm right, it does have 2 maps in it. So it has that one, you know how well you can see it, and that one. So they're kind of the same map, but they're just a bit, one's more zoomed in than the other. And if I'm not mistaken, no. And I was going to see if Heroes had the same thing, but it doesn't. So yeah, I think my best bet for that is going to be Mythos by Stephen Fry. So the next question is, do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? And the answer to this is actually yes. I literally, as I read it, I just thought of one. I've just got to figure out where it is, by here. So if I'm not mistaken, Pride and Prejudice was a TV show at one point. There's also been a movie, but I'm pretty sure there's a BBC version of Pride and Prejudice. So I'm going with Pride and Prejudice. The next question is, do you have a book written by somebody who's originally famous for something else? Yes. I've already mentioned one, which is Heroes and Mythos by Stephen Fry, because Stephen Fry is an actor, and that's what he's famous for first. I've also got, trying to figure out where they are, go for that one. I've also got, if you've watched this channel, you know I'm a fan of Carrie Hope Fletcher, and I've got her books. So this is just one of them, When the Curtain Falls, which was the last paperback she had. And yeah, she's famous for obviously being a YouTuber and a West End star, and both of which she was doing before she became an author. So that's the one I'm going to go with. Next question is, do you have a book with a clock on the cover? Now, like I said, I read these questions ahead of time, so a book automatically came into mind for this, and that was, The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. But as you can see, it hasn't actually got a clock on it. It has a pocket watch, so I don't know if that counts. So I'm going to quickly look through the other books and see if I can find one that does actually have a clock on it. Otherwise, I'm just going to count this one. So I have found another book, and it kind of has a clock on it, and the reason that I'll show you. So this is called The Museum of You by Kara Spry, and it's all like paper cutouts, but as you can see, it's actually got a cuckoo clock there. So it doesn't really have the clock face on, but it is technically a cuckoo clock. So I'm going to count that as my book with a clock on the cover. Next question is, do you have a poetry book? I'm pretty sure I do have a poetry book, but as to where it is, I don't know. I think it might be in a box at my attic, but I'm pretty sure I do have a poetry book somewhere in this house, but I just don't have it to hand at the moment. So I'm going to skip on to the next one. Do you have a book with an award stamp on it? Now, this is tricky because there are probably books I have that have been given awards, but it just depends on which edition of the book you have, whether it has the award stamp on it. So one automatically came to mind, and I think it's the only one I've got that's got a stamp on it. There might be others, but I've not been able to find them yet. And it's also very tricky because sometimes when they do limited edition books, they also put like stamp things on it. But the one that came to mind when I read this question was, so the first book that came to mind was Eleanor Ophelia is Completely Fine. And as you can see, it has a Costa Book Award on it. So I'm pretty sure that counts. But yeah, that's the only one I think I have that has a book award sticker on it. So the next question is, do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? Now, although my channel name suggests that my name is Emma Rose, which it technically is, my initials are actually EG, and one book automatically jumped into my mind when I read this question, so I'm going to grab that for you now once I find it. So I think it's in the back. So here we are, we've got Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, so EG. Yeah, I don't know why, I think it might have just been on my shelf when I read the questions, or I'd seen it recently. But yeah, that was the first one that jumped into my mind. So the next question is, do you have a book of short stories? Now, it depends on what you class as short stories, but yeah, I have at least 2 books that come to mind for this one, so I'm going to grab them now. So the first one that came to mind was Raw by Cecilia Ahern, because that's composed of like multiple short stories. And then the next book that came to mind was Before the Coffee Gets Cold, because that's comprised of 4 short stories. So yeah, like I said, it depends on what you class as a short story, because the ones in Raw are only like a page or 2 long, or actually no, like 5 pages long, so I'm assuming that counts. So the next question is probably one of the hardest ones, but it's, do you have a book that's between 500 and 510 pages long? Now this is going to be the most difficult because it depends on how you count the pages, because sometimes it counts the acknowledgements and like other parts as within the page count, but I'm going to see. I don't think I do. I think I have ones that are close to that, but I don't think I have ones that are actually 510. But yeah, I'll have a look through now and we'll see if I can find any. So the first one that came to mind was The Strings of Frankie Presto, but I don't actually know. Let's get to the back. The acknowledgements. I'm not going to count the acknowledgements, so yeah, I don't think it actually does. 3, 5, 9, 6. Yeah, so that's a no. Let's try this one. Night Circus, see if that is. Nope. The Book Thief. I'm literally going for all the books that I know that are quite long books. See if no, Book Thief is longer. The Toy Makers might be. Nope. That stopped on like 147, so definitely not. Maybe Stephen Fry. Nope. I don't think the other one's going to be either. Nope. I'm going to check. I've got a book that's on my shelf, so I'm going to check that, because I think that's my last hope. I'm pretty sure the others are not longer than those. Those are the books I knew that were the longest. So I'm going to check one on my shelf and see if any of those are 500 to 510. So yeah, I've just checked the hardbacks on my shelf, and it turns out I don't actually have any books that are 500 to 510 pages. I have ones that are like 490 and I have ones that are like 520. So it was stretched out a bit further than I could. But yeah, I'm quite surprised at that. But I think watching other people's vlogs, I think a lot of people struggle to find books that were within those 10-page limit. So the next question is, do you have a book that was turned into a movie? Yes, I have quite a few books that have been turned into movies. So the first one that came to mind, which I'll grab in a sec. So the first one that came to mind was Stardust. That came out quite a few years ago and it was quite good, and I'll be honest, I do kind of prefer the movie to the book, but the book is still great too, and I do love the book as well. Another book I have that was turned into a movie is The Great Gatsby. I think everyone knows this book, and I think most people know the movie as well, so yep, that one. Another one is Another one is The Book Thief. That was turned into a movie a couple of years ago. And I've also got To Kill a Mockingbird, which was turned into a movie a couple of decades ago. But yeah, I remember watching that at the same time I had to read the movie. yeah, I remember watching that at the same time I was reading the book, just to help analyse it, because we had to do it for school. So I remember watching that in school. I've also already mentioned Pride and Prejudice. That was obviously turned into a movie. And another two I've got, which are two Cecilia Hearns. One is P.S. I Love You, which was turned into a movie a while back now. And the other one is Where Rainbows End. Now with Where Rainbows End, the movie was actually called Love, Rosie. So I don't think a lot of people will know that it was based on this book, unless you've already read the book. But yeah, and to be honest, although I've read both these books, I haven't actually seen the movie. And I think apart from To Kill a Mockingbird and Stardust, I haven't actually seen any of and Pride and Prejudice, actually. Most of them I haven't actually seen the movie for the book. So the next question is, do you have a graphic novel? No. I'm not even going to look. I just know I don't have a graphic novel. I don't know why. I've just never really fancied picking one up. So yeah, that's a no. And the final question is, do you have a book that was written by 2 or more authors? And I'm pretty sure that's a no as well. So I've kind of started and ended this challenge with no's, which isn't great, but I managed to answer some of them. But yeah, I definitely don't have a book that was written by 2 authors or more. But that being said, I do have a list of books that I want to buy, and one of them I know is written by 2 authors. So yeah, so if I'd done this video a bit later, I might have been able to answer that, but for now, no, I don't have a book that would answer that question. So yeah, I didn't do too bad on that challenge. I think I managed to do like 14 or 15 questions I was able to actually answer with books that I have, but there was still quite a lot that I couldn't answer. But yeah, that went a lot better than I thought, so I don't really know how to end this video, to be honest. So yeah, I'm gonna go sort my books now, because I need to reorganise them again, and I will see you guys next time.